Hey friends, this is Marilyn from tarotclarity.com, and I want to get back into the swing of things, but it's been a little overwhelming. I know I've already missed two of Masha's challenge videos. She's already released Temperance and she's already released the Devil, so I have to catch up on that. Excuse me. I've had a few videos in the back burner of my own mind that I had wanted to do, and now I can't even remember what they were. So I should get in the habit now of writing things down because I can't trust my memory. So I thought today's video would be nice to have just a simple presentation of a new deck that I bought. Now, I already opened it because I did a reveal video, but it was just terrible. So I aborted it and I just figured I'd do it over, but I can't fake the unpacking a second time. So I'm sorry about that. But what I was looking for was I've been looking for a plastic Tarot of Marseille deck because I have grandchildren. And I want my eldest grandchild is 4, and she's just right for teaching her, sitting down with her and trying to, get honest little responses from her regarding the cards. And she's ready, but she's still only 4. And, they're not particularly careful, or they don't particularly understand delicacy, so I really want plastic TdM decks. Now I have a few plastic Rider-Waite-Smith decks which seem abundant on the internet that you could get them for under $20, but for some reason TdM tarot decks in plastic seem to be impossible to find unless you're really willing to shell out like $50 or more, which is fine, but if I'm going to shell out $50 or more, I want it to be a TdM or a Pip style deck that I really like and not just some ugly one. You know what I'm saying? Sorry, I have pain when I breathe. So, and please, I apologize for all the coughing that I'll be doing in this video. I'm still coughing from the COVID. So anyway, while I was on eBay, I saw in Spanish that somebody was selling Tarot of Marseille, in cartas plasticadas, in total color, right? So I see that, and it's about $30, so I get all excited, and I think, yes, a plastic tarot deck. That's exactly what I'm looking for. So I had to order it from Mexico, and I think I ordered it before I got sick, and it took weeks and weeks and weeks to get here, and I completely forgot all about it until one day, a few days ago, my husband and I and the baby were in the basement watching Bluey on the big screen. And I think it was either UPS or, UPS rings the doorbell because they need our signature for something. We're like, what? Who ordered something that needed to be signed for? You would think we were getting a television or something. And it's just this little deck of cards had to be signed for. But at any rate, I got them, and boy, not only are they not plastic. I guess plasticados means laminated, but not being a native speaker, I'm not sophisticated enough to pick up on that. But not only are they not plastic, they're extremely cheaply made. I'll show you the box. Now, unless you're looking exactly for this, which some people might be, I would highly recommend you give this deck a hard pass, even if you're not looking for plastic tarot cards. Even if laminated decks is fine, I suggest you pass on this one. And the reason I say so is because it's extremely cheaply made. It looks to me, and I've already shuffled these cards, but it looks to me that somebody got their hands on a generic black and white TdM format, printed them out, colored them however they wanted to color them, and then laminated them. And they were printed out, obviously, and perforated, like with the perforations, because you can see the perforations all along the top. And then they laminated the cards. So it's really like, you could do it yourself, the deck is full of shreds of plastic and paper. It's just kind of awful. It's not a shuffleable deck. Well, at least not this way. Oh, wow, make a liar out of me. That was the first time that I've been able to shuffle these cards. Let me flip the camera so you can see what I'm talking about. That was the only riffle shuffle I was, yeah, most of the time it turns out like that. Too bad the one time I did it perfectly, not on, I mean, I'm a pretty good car shuffler. Well, okay, I guess I did it. But it's not a good shuffling deck. But then the problem is when I shuffle this way, when I get a deck that is not easy to riffle shuffle, either because it's too large or because the quality is not there, I'll overhand shuffle 78 times to unmix it. And you can see, I mean, I've already been handling this deck for probably 2 hours already. And you see it's still shedding terrible. And another thing I noticed is that after I handled the cards and I tried to put them back in their box, they don't fit in the box. So it's so bad that even after you shuffle, you can't even put it back in its original box. Oh, well, whatever. However, I paid, I guess, about $30, and I was willing to pay $30 when I thought I was going to get a plastic TdM deck. And I'm very disappointed. I would never spend $30 on this deck had I known what it was. However, it's, it took 3 weeks to get here, and I have a funny feeling that the customer service is going to leave something to be desired, so I'm not even going to try to return it. And I'm just going to chalk it up as one of those things. And it suffices that I can use this deck for the grandchildren because I really don't care what happens to it. And I mean, I still want to teach that they, handle cards, or that they're a special tool with respect, etc., etc. But I can relax a little bit. It's not like I'm going to be giving them, one of my Marco Benedetti decks or Giordano Berti decks, and be concerned that they're going to damage the cards. So. And then I can also take this on vacation, and if one gets blown off the edge of the boat, I'm not going to worry about it. So you caught that, right? So for those of you who may have seen the last video or two, it was about a sea cruise that my husband had planned, for us to go on a cruise. And when I did the reading appeared that and I'll put the link below, but the reading appeared that the trip was probably not a good idea. And although I did make a mistake in the calculation, the final card should have been the Hanged Man instead of the Tower, but my perception was that there were 3 Tower cards. And I showed my husband the video, and because he had promised me that he would abide with the result of the cards. And if the cards said it's not a good idea, then he wouldn't go. So he sees 3 Tower cards in the spread, and he's like, well, that's not so bad, is it? Excuse me for coughing. And I was like, dude, what card do you have to see to be scared or to have any fear? And I asked him what the scariest card for him in a tarot deck was, and he said the Hanged Man. Well, the irony was, had I done the math correctly, the final card was the Hanged Man, but because I hadn't, I hadn't added correctly, I came up with the Tower card. So at any rate, we're going on this trip because he's just not, he's like, we're going. And he's kind of like old kind of guy. He's a great guy, but he's kind of like my way or the highway in many regards, and this is one of them. So I've decided that I'm going on this cruise. I'm not looking for trouble. See all that? Just terrible. All that stuff on my table. Ugh. So we're going on this cruise, and I'm not looking for trouble. I am going to go with a good mind and clear head and just look for a good time. I'm not looking for any trouble. I'm not looking for anything to be wrong. However, given the nature of the last reading, I sort of kind of do want to just make a precautionary call out to the universe. What, if anything, should we be careful of or be mindful of while on this cruise to have the best possible time. Two of Cups. Six of Coins. Well, those are very lovely cards. Maybe get reacquainted or just take the opportunity to be cozy with one another. Oh, look at that. So we have 2. Oh, it's an 8. Did I say 6? I apologize. So we have 2 and 8 is 10. 10 and 4 is 14. So that would be Temperance. So that's a water feature. Let me make sure that I got it right because my brain has not been good lately. So let me make sure I've added it properly and that I picked the correct card and I'll be right back. So here we are. Now it could be because the row begins and ends with water features. It could suggest maybe not imbibing because after all, the Temperance card really did, when it was conceived and created, I'm convinced it was a reference to the wedding cana and, diluting the effects of alcohol with either water or cheaper alcohol so that it stretches, that it dilutes, right? So it begins and ends with the idea of perhaps drink. But my husband and I are not drinkers. We're both sober. Excuse me. So I think there's no risk of us, losing ourselves or becoming irresponsible with alcohol. So I don't think it applies here. But it might suggest seasickness. Cards of Queen being cards of well-being. 8 and 4 are good solid numbers. I don't see anything that we should really be concerned about. Maybe be careful with money. There might be money traps. But I will buy seasickness tablets just to be on the safe side in case there's some seasickness. I think maybe this will be a good opportunity for us to reconnect and maybe get a little more on stable ground with ourselves. I guess everybody's relationship could do that. Another question I'll ask today, and I'm not really going into my meditative place for these because they're lighthearted questions, but it's a rainy day. It's a child-free day, and I have so much housework to catch up on because while I was sick, my husband's not a housework kind of guy. It all, built up, and then I went back immediately to watching the babies before I should have. And so, and you know how quickly babies trash a house, so I have a lot of housework, and I don't really want to do it today. I'm doing what I want to do today. I'm in my tarot parlor catching up with just handling my cards. I haven't been in my parlor almost since I got sick. So I just want to know, should I really do housework or should I just relax? Ten of Swords, put a fork in the housework. Yeah, put a fork in the housework. So we have 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. So it's almost the same number, 10 and 9. Let's see what the next one is. Ooh, 16. Definitely don't do housework. I think so. So let me go off and add this up. My adding skills have left something to be desired lately. I don't know if it's COVID brain or what, but I've not been sharp lately. So to me, that looks like it would be 13, which would be the Death card. So let me pull the Death card. So I think, since I'm thinking that I should do housework, this is kind of saying, like the domestic crumbling, well, the house is falling apart. Well, it's not really. I probably, if somebody were to walk in my house right now and I would say, excuse the mess, they'd say, what mess? That kind of thing, But I take pride in my home. And it really bugs me when things aren't just the way I feel they should be. So it kind of bugs me. So I'm not sure what I understand about this. I kind of feel like my house is a mess, you know, but at the same time, I almost feel like it'll kill me because I'm so freaking tired, you know, and every part of my body hurts. And I just feel like, oh God, I don't have it in me. I don't feel like cleaning my house. And this kind of tells me put a fork in it with the domestic stuff, let it go. But then this kind of feels like, what does it feel like? That it's gone to hell in a handbasket, you know what I mean? But I think I'm not going to do housework. I think I'm just going to stay in my tarot parlor and have fun trying to catch up with handling my cards and just getting back. Let's try to do one more reading so that I like to do things at least in threes. So let me think of a question. I don't know. Let's see. I'll just ask a very general question, and I'm not going into my meditative place because I'm approaching these questions with a lighthearted attitude. What will be the most interesting thing that I will see on the news today? What will be the most interesting thing? No, what interests me may be different than what interests you. You see all these little fuzzy things? Ugh. Okay, well, I don't read inversions, but I might take note that that card was upside down. Okay, we have 10 cups, something that's reached a saturation point of the emotions. So there may be something that's highly emotionally charged. What could it be regarding? Let's see. Regarding a young man. Two of coins. Let's see what they amount to. I don't give numeric value to court cards, but we have a 10 and a 2, which is 12, which is the Hanged One. So hopefully it's quick. Now, unfortunately, because I opened this deck off camera and I did a video and I got them out of order, unfortunately, I can't really give you a proper review of these cards, but suffice it to say that I don't know. I think they definitely aren't worth $30 or $35 or whatever I paid for them. Definitely wasn't worth waiting 3 weeks in the mail. Definitely wasn't worth going up from the basement, going up those steps to sign for them, etc., etc. Oh, there we are. But I really just get the impression that somebody got a generic TdM, colored it whatever colors they wanted, printed it out on tarot paper, maybe that was made for printing tarot cards with perforations, and then laminated it and decided to make a profit. Okay, so we have the Hanged One. So maybe there will be emotional news regarding a young man, a domestic partner, I don't know. We'll see how it plays out, and maybe not such a happy ending. Something that might be humiliating for the young man, something that might be humiliating for somebody in the equation. Maybe this represents parents or a domestic partner. We'll see. I'll watch the news, see what plays out today. And remember, what's interesting to me may not be interesting to you. Oh, I know it was 3, but let's try one more reading. Just one more. Oh, I know. I had a weird dream last night that I was taking in people who were down and out, and they were not, I don't know if they were homeless, but they were really struggling and they were having a really hard time in life. And I invited one of them to come live with us. And she was, she brought a lot to the household, and she was funny and just, really great energy to be with. And I just loved her, and I loved her being here. And then the other person was like really doom and gloom and was such a negative. I mean, she was in such a bad way that she couldn't even see that, somebody was offering her a place to live, and she couldn't even see it. And she was in such a bad place that she was just not pleasant to be with at all. And then I woke up and I was like, wow, that's really peculiar. What on earth did it mean? I'm not sure if the cards will be able to tell me what it means, but it would be interesting to see what message there might have been in that dream for me. This card felt bent, but I don't see. Okay, a piercing through. A breakthrough. Wow. Energy beginning, just charged. Underhandedness. So we have 3 and 4. And 1 is 5. So we have a pair of 8, a pair of 1s, which even though this is, from the higher order cards, doesn't necessarily mean the same thing as an ace of a suit. But just to take note that there's 2 aces, or 2 1s at least. So the beginning of something, or the realization of something where you can't trust everything, or you can't, when you go into something, and you're excited about it, and maybe there's always a chance that things aren't the way they seem. You would think like the first person being happy and grateful, and then we're happy to have that person, and then we all like got along so well, and they were happy to be here and we were happy to have them, and what she contributed to our household, right? And then the other person was just didn't act like we would have expected, not that we expected gratitude, but we expected not to be so sad, because we were like hoping to have, to bring joy, we were hoping to bring joy, not to be brought down ourselves, So anyway, so we have 3 and 4 and 5. So that would be male Pope, or the Pope. Of course he's male. Is the Pope Catholic? Okay, so I try to go through a few to see if the card that we're looking for is right up front, but of course it's not. So I will pause, but I guess it's a good chance for you to see all these cards. Oh, there he is. Give it a good shot, because I didn't really show these cards in a proper review. So like, again, I got to check, because I'm like getting shady with myself. 3. Oh, and look at this. Like, what's that? Right? Yeah, definitely steer clear of this deck. Let me show you the box. Where's the box? On eBay. From Mexico. Steer clear. Okay, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, I guess I got it right. So, this could be having a holier than thou attitude. Not that I feel like I have that, but your expectation is somebody would be, you feel like you're doing something good, and you're helping somebody out, and our expectation, like with the first person, was just right on point, right? She was just so happy to be here, and we were so happy to have her, and she was, just settling in, and going to look for work, and she was just a joy to be near. And then, and then we had the one character, the one person who just was doom and gloom, and she brought us all down in the household, so, we shouldn't maybe, or I, since it was my dream, shouldn't expect people to be the same or to always show appreciation in the same way. And, it's possible that sometimes people are in such a bad way that they can't see they can't see the good in something. I know I've never been homeless, but I've been close. And the only reason I am not homeless, or had not been homeless, was because I had people in my life who cared about me. And I have a strong network, and I've always provided a strong network for my family. I'm the glue that holds this family together, I think. I've instilled, family in my kids, and my, growing up, I had differences with my parents, but family, they were always there. They would never let me suffer or struggle, and I knew I could always go to them. So, but for the grace of God go I, and I always remember that. But I guess we can't always expect, if somebody's been mistreated or, falls on hard times, they can't always be expected to even believe a good thing when they see it. So I'm not bringing homeless people into my home. I'm not, but I think it's a good reminder to realize that people don't always see gifts, or they don't always receive gifts in the way that we might expect. Or they may be leery of us, like who's doing something nice. Sometimes maybe people are suspicious of people who do something nice because maybe there's a fear that there's got to be something in it for them, right? Interesting. I'll have to think about this for a little bit. All right, friends, until next time. This was an easy video to get underway with. I did fall behind on Masha's challenge. I know she let out the Temperance card and the Devil card, and I have my A through Z cards, decks to do. I have a few of my own. I have to remember what I was going to do, and I just have to get back into the swing of tarot in my channel, but I guess being sick has taken a little bit out of me, so please be patient with me. Until next time, friends, peace. Stay well.